Alright fellas, are you ready? Are you ready? I'm ready. Throne and Liberty, new content, everything that we know about the game, everything that the game will have in this video. Let's go! We continue to observe the mmorpg Throne and Liberty, which has recently made significant progress in becoming a PC game that we can proudly play. I hope. After the recent test, including a super closed technical test, super closed of the global version, we can now draw some conclusions about the content that will be in the game, or with a high probability it will be, because, of course, some of that may not live till the launch of the game in global version. Today let's try to systemize all the PvP and PvE content that the developers plan to entertain and engage players in Throne and Liberty. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel because, please support me. My name is PLK, let's go. As I mentioned in the beginning, a super close technical test of the global version of Throne and Liberty recently took place, and only a few lucky ones were able to participate. Despite the strict NDA, videos from this testing were leaked to the internet. I love internet. Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't show them here without risking video restrictions, but you can check them out in the internet and the YouTube, and just Google it. Anyway, what did they leak? For example, you could get a first-hand look at the updated combat system, which has become less stationary. Battle with the world bosses like Queen Belandria Taverna, I hope this is the right name, transformation mechanics into animals, ability interface, and a bird's-eye view of the city of Castleton. You could also see weapon skills and read their descriptions. During the test, as a reminder, 7 types of weapons were available. Sword and shield, magical staff with the book, dual crossbow, two-handed sword, longbow, and dual daggers, of course. And as a treat, there was a video that invited us to see the game world from the perspective of the whale's flight instead of the birds. Yes, it is quite remarkable. I would even say that it's unique means of transportation. Well, what can I say, the videos are of high quality even though they were leaked and re-uploaded, but it can be said that the game is now moving into the right direction. And it's quite possible that we will get a great mmorpg again. In the end, okay. Where it won't be embarrassing to get hooked for a long time. What prevents them from doing this from the start, from the beginning, without such a shameful upsurge in the first test, you might ask? Which is a great question. I think it's a combination of laziness, as always, and belief that it will be enough as it is. People will eat that shit, right? But no, we stand and we get a good game. I hope so. Stop these comments, or at least comment something below, but I hope this will be the good game. But it wasn't enough. And it seems that the era of meaningless and merciless Korean cross-platform grind fests is coming to the end. Well, let's move on to the content, as I promised. Let's start with PvE, because surprisingly, Throne and Liberty is still a PvP-oriented game as all other Korean mmorpgs and Lineage 2. And all the people, I need to do this comment. All the people in the internet, all the big guys and good channels who are observing and overviewing the games like that, when they talk about Throne and Liberty, they talk about from the perspective of the Eastern mmorpgs, like from the perspective, from World of Warcraft. These guys didn't play Lineage 2 or Lineage 2M or other shitty Korean mmorpgs because I love them. And they don't know what to expect. I can see from these videos, I can see from the leaks, and I can see from all the trailers that we'll get the Lineage 3, basically, on the engine new one, which is cool. Not so cool if it will be Unreal Engine 5, right? Still, it will be a cool game with good graphics and everything, with optimization, I hope so. And you need to understand this is kind of legacy that you have from these other oldest games. And this legacy will continue. It's like take EverQuest and World of Warcraft. You have this legacy in World of Warcraft, right? So it's pathetic. Sorry to say, but it's really pathetic. Listen to these guys trying to, analyze what the game will be. It will be just Lineage 2. It will be grind, it will be PvP, it will be good PvP, it will be no PvE at all, some main quest for the levels, but then every possible quest that you will take, it's so useless and meaningless, so we will just grind and kill people in the grind. And that's why this game is cool. So please give us good combat system. Anyway, let's go. So, PvP-oriented game, right? And there isn't much PvE content in it. Of course, quests will greet us right from the start of the game. You can track all these activities in a special codex, which contains 3 sections: Adventure Quest, Exploration, and Collection. The first section contains all the information about the main storyline, which will take us through the location and teach us the basic mechanics of the game, and experience is given generously. So it's definitely worth doing all the quests, and I think it's the only line questing that will get the experience for you. You can also loot yourself consumables, transformation, and equipment. The exploration section contains information about the side quests in the different locations. Nothing supernatural, kill 100,000 mobs, bring something to the quest giver and get lost without any meaningful rewards. Yeah, it's worth doing the side quest only if you are interested in a specific reward, because according to information from the global test, they don't give much experience. Well, in addition, these quests periodically require certain conditions to be met, like kill these 100,000 mobs during the rain, which is, Korean way of doing let's do this quest more interesting. Yeah, well, how? Maybe let's add good reward or some kind of loot, unique loot to that, or something useful, No, let's do this quest only while raining. Yeah, cool, go on. The third section is like standard collection that you can find in any mobile beat'em up. The only difference is that here you don't have to collect clothes or some gacha items. The collection is about books and notes scattered throughout the game world, which is super close to the new world, right? And if they will give some experience to us, it's actually good. Collecting them gives you special currency that you can spend on buying new transformation. So, it's useful. Moving on, contracts. Essentially, they are daily quests, just like dailies. Completing them can give you resources for crafting various items and sometimes even special items for enhancing equipment or character skills. I think this could be also useful, because the loot system and the chances to drop some kind of loot in these games are super low. So to get even the low amount, but with 100% chance, is better than just grind the mobs. So we can use this quest. Contracts are not available just like that. You need to fulfill certain conditions to unlock them. Moreover, there is a limited number of contracts that can be completed per day. But in certain cases, this number can be expanded. For example, bonus contracts can be obtained by leveling up or looting special scrolls from the elite mobs. Also cool stuff, so developers push us to go to the harder places like elite mobs and try to kill them. So you will be pushed to gather the party and go together, or at least to try to kill these more lower level elite mobs by yourself. Main contracts offer free tasks to kill mobs that are at the same level as your character. They become available from the level 20 to 22. Special contracts, on the other hand, open at level 30 and involve killing higher level mobs. You can take up to 15 contracts per day, but for special contracts, you will need to pay additional gold fee, about 20,000 to 27,000. However, it seems that the rewards are worth it. Apart from the mentioned resources and items, completing contracts also gives you special currencies that can be used for other purposes. Well, dailies are dailies after all. Now let's talk about bosses. Here we have the opportunity to either go solo in the so-called Tideless Tower or team up with the guild. In the first case, you will have to solo a chain of bosses and get something that will help improve your equipment as a reward. In the case of a guild, you will need your guild to be at least level 2 to access the base, where you will have access to NPCs and guild bosses. Of course, the level of the guild will determine which boss you will have access to. The higher the level, the fatter the boss and the reward. And you can participate in the such event only once a day, so it's worth trying to develop your guild. It's the same specific mechanic that we saw in Lineage 2M and the latest Lineage 2 expansions. You have a guild, and you have you have world bosses, right? It's not something huge that you need like 20 or 40 people. You have these ones, the big ones. So the full server will fight for them to get one ring, which will get you a little bit more of something in your stats, but it's worth it. But you also have bosses like to kill with 4 people, 5 people, 6 people. It will be just, fight for the boss, and whoever first will kill the boss will get the reward. But for the guilds who can't do that, who can't PvP, you have things like indoor bosses. So you level up your guild house to go to the guild dungeon, or just the boss are spawning in the arena. You can spawn it in the guild and you kill the boss. So it's kind of training or test for your guild to try to kill the boss. And also you get some reward with a low chance. But at least you have this chance. Because other open world bosses, even small ones, it will be PvP. Like in Lineage 2M, the same mechanic. As a reward, you will get guild experience and various valuable loot. The difficulty lies in the fact that each participant in the fight has a limited number of deaths, 3 to be exact. If you fail within 3 attempts, welcome to the next day. In other words, come back tomorrow. Okay, makes sense. Let's move on to PvP. And here, as I mentioned before, surprisingly, the game still offers quite interesting and diverse content. And that is, thank you very much that you didn't do the PvE grind thing. Because if you're grinding, if this game is about grind, take the BDO, right? It should be really deep PvP mechanics. So, surprisingly, because as a reminder, Tron and Liberty recently fell into the clutches of Amazon and immediately lost some PvP content because it's European, oriented game now. But player versus player battles are eliminated in all areas except those where conflict occurs, where most likely the bosses will appear, or the mobs will be more higher level with more reward or something like that, or resources could be more higher level, Of course, the final say will be with the NCSoft, and these guys has always know how to do the proper PvP. But no matter how they start, in the light of recent events that have shaken their confidence, they may bend to the less hardcore preferences of Western mmorpg makers. On the other hand, it's quite possible that Amazon will at least take a look and see how to do real PvP content. Because as we know, the real PvP in real Korean mmorpgs, it's a cool hardcore. First of all, it should be noted that not only all the events described below can lead to PvP, it depends on many factors, including the server's policy. Maybe every guild will fight in the server. Maybe it will be big alliances and will be some few underdogs who are playing and, trying to fight with everybody. Nevertheless, they were originally conceived as a PvP motivated, so there is a good chance that there will be still fights. First of all, there will events. We simply come to a specific location, kill a certain number of mobs and deliver the looted item to the right place. In the recent test, such events even took place without the ability to attack other players. But as far as I understand, not always. Sometimes you could fight for the loot or get beaten up there. Nevertheless, the trend, as they say, is like that. Moreover, there is a special event rating, and being at the top of a list gives you experience and items to improve your character's skills and equip. So it's definitely a profitable thing to kill other players to be the top, right? World bosses. As far as I know, there are 4 bosses and 2 arc bosses in the game at the current stage. The appearance of such creatures is also a kind of event when the PvP zone is activated around the boss, giving players the opportunity to beat each other up however they want. But no one forces you to do that. You can just peacefully defeat the enemy together. And it will not go like that, because the loot, the item from the boss, will get only the winner or some kind. In Lineage 2M, it was whichever party will do the higher number of damage, this loot will go to this party. And whichever party killed all previous bosses will have better equipment, so they will kill new bosses more faster. So if we will do it in a peaceful way, like we tried to do it in Lineage 2M, only one party will get everything. So in few weeks, other parties or other clans or other guilds will say, screw it, we'll kill these guys and we'll get this boss. And then intrigues and PvP started. That's fun. The time bosses and arc bosses spend in the open world is of course limited, so precise and coordinated actions are needed to finish within the time. But the reward is definitely worth it. Dungeons. They are called dungeons in Tron and Liberty, not instances, which means they are dungeons located in the open world of the game, and entering them does not require any additional loading, as always it was in Lineage 2. As far as I understand, they are multi-level structures. You can enter such a dungeon at any time and descend to the floor you are interested in. But there is a good chance you'll be attacked by mobs, and there are obviously plenty of them here, as well as other players. Yep, The PvP mod usually operates in such dungeons. Usually, that's it. It was some rumors that PvP mode will only be activated in the nights or not, but it's stupid from my point of view. Just make some zones PvP and make their rewards in these zones better. That's all. Well, there are currently 5 dungeons in the game. However, during the test, only 2 of them were shown, and one, as we know from the producer's words, can only be ascended under certain conditions, and it's not possible to reproduce those conditions during the test, which is super cool. Next, Rift Stones and Bond Stones, world activities represented on the map by special flags that need to be captured. And here you will definitely have to fight tooth and nail. A guild can capture 3 Rift Stones and 3 Bond Stones, and each flag gives the guild certain characteristics, resources and experience. Of course, any guild can claim the flags. Solo players, on the other hand, can simply participate in PvP as a mercenary, but they won't be able to capture the flag alone. To capture, the guild leader or one of the officers must activate the capture skill, after which the area around the flag must be held for 5 minutes. Whoever owns the flag after 30 minutes becomes the main holder and receives bonuses for the next 36 hours. And after 36 hours, the event becomes available again. And the main holder and their guild will have to defend the flag against the other guilds. And really interesting thing here, if you didn't play any of the Lineage franchise games, you don't catch it, right? 36 hours, it's not 24 hours. It's kind of, if the first event will be in the middle of the day, the next one after 36 hours will be in the middle of the night. So some guilds will specifically activate these events in the some time when they will defend it next time. What will be more profitable time for them. And you will have the scouts group that will try to check the exact time when it appears. So the next time we will have the calendars, we will have the schedule in the calendar to kill these world bosses, which will also have the specific timer from 4 hours to 8 hours, from 12 hours to 16 hours, right? And also the flags. So this is really Korean MMORPG. If you have ever dreamed of robbing caravans, then the Throne and Liberty will definitely please you. The event tax delivery involves the guild that own a castle, which as far as I know is the only one in the game right now, delivering the chest of taxes from the settlement to their own castle at a specific time. Here how it works. One member of the guild transforms into a huge golem and carries a massive chest of taxes on their shoulders. Their task is to reach the castle as quickly as possible, while hostile players try to hinder them and get their share of the taxes in case they destroy the golem. The pass is not easy, with obstacles that need to be overcome, so it seems that defending it without the other guild members will be extremely challenging, or help from another guilds, like I can imagine. But one thing is for sure, it will definitely be fun. And since we're talking about castles, let's talk about sieges. Sieges will also be part of the game, of course. Moreover, as far as I know, a couple of sieges have already taken place during the recent test. What can I say? It's a typical large-scale PvP event designed for guild participation and lasting about 45 minutes. It consists of 3 stages: the outer wall, the inner wall, and the throne room. The first 2 stages requires siege golems. You can enter the castle through the central gates or through the secondary gates on the eastern side. Although, if I remember correctly, there were initially planned to be more entrances. Most likely it's due to testing, and the final version of the sieges will be more diverse in this regard. Before the siege, there is a 15-minute stage of taking positions. And you can imagine, I don't know that, but you can imagine that in all these games before, in this franchise, the dust penalty, after every dust you will drop some percentage of your XP. So when you go to the castle siege, you will drop every dust like 0.5%, right? And it's not a big deal. But when you will be killed 10 times during these 45 minutes, you will drop like 5%, which is a week of hard grind on a high level. So it became more valuable, to go forward and do everything to get the castle, or don't even try. Let's continue with sieges. 4 flags are located in front of the castle, and after capturing them, guild members can teleport to the flag, and guild officers can transform into siege golems. During the siege, PvP mode is active in the flag area as well. To capture the castle, it is necessary to hold the throne room for 3 minutes and protect the players who is directly capturing the throne. Interestingly, during the designs each time the castle can change owner multiple times, but in the end the one who controls the throne at the end of the event become the main owner. The owner receives valuable bonuses, the ability to collect taxes, as we mentioned earlier, and resources for the guild. Such an event is planned to be held once every 2 weeks. In general, that's about it. Of course, it is not the final content, as I mentioned before. The developers will surely add something else and improve an existing content by the release. It is already known that PvE content will be supplemented with a special instance dungeons that will require teamwork for the pussies, In any case, now I really like Throne and Liberty. Much more. Yes, I still don't like the top targeting combat system, which although it has become less stationary, it is still far from dynamic. However, in my opinion, many things can be tolerated if the game has interesting and engaging content. So, what do you think about all the content that I delivered to you? Do you like it or not? I need your comments. What do you think about Throne and Liberty? Will we create the huge clan in Throne and Liberty in this channel? I mean, I will definitely play the game, right? And while we will go into the comment, please subscribe to the channel and please like the video. Because, it's already, how many, 15, 20 minutes you're listening to me and you're still here. Thank you for that, guys. I was happy to see you. My name is PLK and until the next time. Bye.